August 2023 sitting. And then this one should be recorded. All right. So we start right, ladies and gentlemen, with this sitting here. So this was tested, questions tested in August 2023. Questions here. So look at question number 1. It's straightforward. It's direct, really. Direct. How fast data is processed and accessed is represented by which of the following V's of big data? Is there somebody who is able to remember, ladies and gentlemen, the 5 V's of big data? Let's start from there. The 5 V's of big data, please go to your chat room there, and then you should be able to, in this case here, the 5. Yes, Damaris, that's correct. So the 5 V's of big data. So we have velocity, Annette, volume, velocity, veracity, value, volume, velocity, variety. All right, thank you very much. So amongst those 5 V's, which one in this case here talks about velocity, or rather, what does velocity talk about? Velocity talks about what? Velocity, speed, yes. Speed. So velocity talks about speed. So if we come here, how fast data is processed. This is velocity. So velocity refers to the speed at which data is processed. We don't even have one, in this case here, called validity. We don't have virality. We have veracity. Remember, veracity stands for what here? The quality, reliability of data, the integrity of data, veracity. If, ladies and gentlemen, we are not getting high quality of data, then that data cannot be big data. Big data must be what is reliable for us to be able to rely on it for purpose of making what here decisions. How about value? How will you be able to explain value in terms of, ladies and gentlemen, big data? How will you be able to describe value? Remember, value, ladies and gentlemen, basically, if it's big data, we should be able to get valuable characteristics here, patterns, which will be able to inform our decision making. It should be our knowledge base, a knowledge base that shall be able to use for purposes of what here, making decisions. Otherwise, if you have data in the data areas, you have been able to store, for example, this in SQL, and then at the end of the day, you can't really get anything valuable out of it. It can't be called big data. It cannot be called big data. Can I go to question number 2, ladies and gentlemen, now? Can I go to question number 2? Can I go? Yeah, getting potential insights. I like that. Thank you very much. So question number 2 is this. We are told here, very easy. Data modeling is a process that helps one to understand the structures, form, and the relationships of information. It requires one, that's data modeling. To first think of the model, then identify the model details, and then how the model will be implemented. Which of the following is the correct name of data model implementation? Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, for those of you who will be doing research, further research, maybe at master's level, when you start doing any research, number 1, you must give us what we call a concept paper. So when you're doing a concept paper, that is at the very preliminary stages, you know. After that, then you should be able to, after the professor now, in this case here, gives you that this is a good topic, you know. I've been able to see your hypothesis. I've been able to see many good things there. So go ahead and do what here? Go ahead and do a proposal. So it is during this proposal that we'll be able to put down logic, you know. All right. So in this case, here, you are expanding the concept papers here. So in this case, here, you go to the logic step. And then, of course, now, lastly, after you finish, now you've done your first 3 chapters, you've defended your proposal, you'll be able to get, in this case, into data collection. And if possible, later on, you should be able to implement now physically whatever you've been researching on. This is also very much applicable even when you're doing, in this case, like a building. If you're an architect, the customer will come and tell you, you know what, I want in this case here, a big bungalow. So in this case here, that is what here at the initial stages, conceptual stages. They don't even know the design, right? From there now, I'll be able to even draw, for example, some sketches therefore. But from there, I go to logistics here, the logical stage, where in this case here, we are able to now design into detail. Now from there, we go to the implementation. And the implementation, we normally do those things now physically. We do them physically. Now I can see you guys are giving me answers very fast. I can see you guys are giving me answers very fast. Now remember, you implement Kendi at the physical stage. Physical stage. So implementation is never here at conceptual. It's never here at logical. It's normally at what here? At the physical stage. At the physical stage. Remember conceptual stage, the conceptual data model represents just a high level. It's very abstract. Nobody understands really these concepts into detail. And relationships between them, often without getting into specific technical details. And then now we get into logistics here, logical. The logical data model delves deeper into the structure of data. Now you're able to define the tables, attributes, and relationships in a way that is independent of the physical implementation. From there now you go to the physical realm. Under this physical data model, this is the actual implementation of the database design, specifying how data will be stored, organized, and accessed, considering hardware and the software consideration. Now you can see at implementation, you need the hardware. You need the hardware there. First of all, are we in agreement about this really, that the implementation will be done at no, we don't talk about those things. Let's first of all progress. I think the best is to progress. And then we wait even for the mock paper tomorrow to see how the entire paper will be. But of course, there was somebody who indicated that the theories would be 40. And that makes me very happy because once we do these three, somebody who has ever done these papers before will tell you that once you do these like 3-4 sittings, all those questions resemble. They're very, very, similar. Very, very similar. Yes, at the implementation stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, of course, we don't have a stage in this case here called rational, really. No. Now, check this. The following activities are included in the cross-industry standard process for data mining, Ladies and gentlemen, this CRISP, we normally call it the CRISP model, cross-industry standard process, the CRISP DM for data mining. If you want me to mine data in your business, which in this case, then you should be able to use to make decisions, the very first thing that I will do is to understand the business. How do you come to RCM, you start mining data and you have not understood our vision, mission? You don't know, in this case here, the overview of the business. So first of all, you understand the business. From there, ladies and gentlemen, now you start understanding the data. So number 4 is number 1 here. This is the first activity in the sequence, business understanding. From there, now you start understanding the data, how much fees is being paid per student, how much this and this. So you start understanding the data. After you understand the data, you have been able to collect this data, you are going to have various columns. You cannot start, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, evaluating before you clean. There are some unnecessary columns there. There could be some other characteristics here which don't have any values there. So you need cleaning, really. You need cleaning here. So the cleaning is normally done at the data preparation stage. At data preparation stage. So if you look at this thing, ladies and gentlemen, here, they're giving us this, the cross-industry standard process for data mining, CRISP-DM, typically follows a specific sequence of activities in the following order. So we have here business understanding, we have data understanding, then we have data preparation. After now we've been able to prepare our data, now it's clean, then we go to modeling. If it's, for example, regression, we model, we call it data modeling. After we come up with a model, we must evaluate this model. Is it going to work? For example, use what we call test data. So we put in this case here, data for testing purposes, and then we see the output that this model is going to produce. So data evaluation. Once we realize and say, hey, this model is good, then in this case here, we shall be able to deploy the model. We should be able to deploy the model. So is there somebody then who is able to get some kind of understanding of this, the CRISP model, cross-industry? Why we are calling it cross-industry is because we are able, ladies and gentlemen, then to, use this scheme in whichever industry. It could be in education industry, in mining industry, etc. So long as you have just a clear understanding of this, then you should be able to allow Mwalimu to move forward, ladies and gentlemen. You should be able to allow Mwalimu to move forward, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, great, great. So long as I just teach like the general things here, then you guys now will be able to do what here to, pick the correct choices. For me, it is the knowledge. The knowledge is really what I'm looking at here. All right. Now from there, ladies and gentlemen, we go to question number 4. So question number 4, which of the following is not an activity in the modeling stage in cross-industry standard process for data mining? So in the modeling stage, of course, we shall be building the model. We shall be building the model. We shall not select one model alone. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's dangerous. In life, we must always have alternatives. In life, we must always have alternatives. Even most of you, those guys who are married, if you were saved, I'm so sure if you were saved and you were a gentleman, I'm so sure you must have had like how many girlfriends if you are saved. We need in this case here to do what you to make what your choices. That's life. So I can see now somebody who is laughing there at me. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, here we are looking at this thing in a general way, courtship, right? So long as they don't get to know each other, right? It's courtship, You need, so even for models, you can't tell me that Mwalimu, now that I'm courting just one girl, then that means you're married. Courtship, you're supposed to court many. They're general friends. The same case with models. You can't tell me that Mwalimu, I'm going to die with this model. Before we start evaluating and saying that this model is the very best, as we use our test data, there will be selections to be done because we have alternatives there. There must be selections to be done. We have alternatives there. So select here. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we must design. There must be designing. So these 3, of course, will be very, very useful in the modeling stage here. The only thing that you're supposed to know is that evaluation, as much as it is important, it is post-modeling. It's post-modeling. Evaluation is a step by itself. It normally comes after modeling. So in this case, it is not one of the steps in modeling. Somebody should have been able to single it out. It's not one of the steps of modeling. And I expect, because I've given you guys the handout, I expect you guys to go and read like these things to understand them. But the most important thing is to appreciate that evaluation is a critical step, which comes after the modeling stage. So it cannot be part of that. For data visualization, a bar chart, these bars that we normally do, which are adjacent to each other, will be classified as a what? Here? The bar chart. The bar chart will be classified as a what? Is it a distribution? Ladies and gentlemen, remember distribution charts. These are like histograms. The ones in this case here we use to draw normal curves, the histogram. Many bars like this, and then you join the centers here. And then you're able to see what kind of, how is this data distributed? Is it a normal curve? Kama ile ugali ya Mluya. Ama ni kama ugali ingine namna hii ambayo, when we talk about a bar chart, ladies and gentlemen, normally use bar charts for purposes of what here comparing. We'll have in this case here one bar for 2022, another bar for 2023. We are able to compare and see our trends. If I want composition, I'll always use what we call pie chart. So composition, ladies and gentlemen, you'd want to know, for example, in the BDA class, this is BDA class 360 degrees. How many students are women here? So maybe a bigger percentage. So that's composition, the strata. So pie chart, in terms of visualization, is for composition. But in this case here, bar chart is for purpose of doing what here, making comparisons. Now, gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. Listen and listen to me very well. So come here. So like these relationships, we are looking at, relationships. What are we looking at? Like two variables. How do they relate? We have in this case here, for example, sales versus commissions here. I would rather in this case here draw like a line graph, a line chart, which will be able to tell me that, hey, your sales commission is going up and yet sales is coming down. There's a problem there. Relationships. I can also do like the scatter diagrams. I can see how points of sales are being scattered around, what kind of patterns they're giving us. Relationships, very, very important. Very important. But ladies and gentlemen, composition, I will never forget this because this always comes here. Composition is about what here? The pie. Pie, how big is my pie? How big is my pie? Question number 6. A data analyst would like to present data in the form of a distribution. In form of a distribution, I'm going to give you the answer. In form of a distribution, how are these particular data distributed? Are they normally curved? Are they in this case here what we call a picket distribution? You will likely use all the following except what here. Let's see this. So for a distribution, of course, even the line chart, like the scattered points, I can draw a line and I'll be able to know, ladies and gentlemen, that for sure how the distribution looks like. I'll be able to use the histogram, of course. I can use scatter graph to see how the points are distributed on the graph. But I will never use a pie chart for purposes of distribution. I will never use a pie chart for purpose of distribution because a pie chart is a composition chart. So up to there, ladies and gentlemen, are we really together? Are we together up to there? Great. So then you are allowing me to move on. Thank you so much. Then I should be able to go straight away to the next question. Which is question number 7. Data ethics are the norms of behavior. They are norms. They don't cut across everybody. They are not the rule. In most cases, ladies and gentlemen, ethics will be more of what here, they are like recommendations. They are general beliefs. But you can't be taken to court because you're unethical. All right? Data ethics are the norms of behavior that promote appropriate judgments and accountability when acquiring, managing, or using data, with the goals of protecting civil liberties, minimizing risks to individuals and the society, and maximizing the public good. All the following promote data ethics, except, ladies and gentlemen, complying with the law, promoting transparency. Of course, if we are transparent enough, people can see through us, then we shall be able to promote what here? Ethics. Because, ethics is all about doing right, doing wrong. So if you are transparent, then people will be able to see. People who are ethical will always respect privacy and the confidentiality. Hii kitu ya kupeleka mambo mdomo kwa mambo ya watu, mapoko kwa mambo ya watu ni very unethical. All right? We should be able to respect, ladies and gentlemen, that all of us are different, right? Let's in this case here, we should always be fair in what here? We should always be fair in our operations if we are ethical. There is no law which is really defining this. It's all about ourselves. The law normally cuts across. And that is why we normally talk over differences between the law and the morality. The law and the ethics, they're different. Because ethics is about you. Law is about we, all of us. Ethics can really vary, even in Kenya here. There are guys, for example, in this case here, who can tell you that me, I can do this. ethics will keep on varying, but law is always what here. So always whenever they mention anything to do with ethics and they put anything to do with law there, know that law will never, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, go together with what here? Ethics. Because ethics is about yourself. It's about, ethics is quite subjective. All right. You know, ladies and gentlemen, at times in this case, you can say that you are following the law. Like we are doing these financial statements because we must, in this case here, meet the law. That KRA wants us to prepare this and this. But still, if you are unethical, you'll be able to find your way. So the most important thing is for you to appreciate from the word that there is a difference between law and ethics. So pick any other point that you're given there, apart from what here? Apart from law. Yeah, law has standard practice. Law has standard practice. Thank you very much for that. Complying with the law. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me continue here. You'll be able to read those things. I've done quite a good job there. Question number 8. Which of the following is not a concept of data integrity? Data integrity. Remember, this integrity is all about what here? Being open. All right. The data being, in this case here, what here? Accurate, consistent. Remember the rule of integrity. We are men of integrity, ladies and gentlemen. We are straightforward. We are updated here. All right. So in this case, which of the following is not a concept of data integrity? You see, ladies and gentlemen, there is no way you will start assessing data integrity until it is availed. So first of all, you must avail the data to us. Then from there, we shall start assessing it. And it can only be, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, it can only have this integrity if the data is current, if it is accurate, if it is valid, if it is consistent, all that. So which of the following is not a concept of data? It cannot be data availability, because data availability must come first. Integrity comes, in this case, to assess the data which has been made available. The concept of data integrity ensures that data is accurate, is consistent, and reliable throughout its life cycle. Among the options provided, data availability is not a concept of data integrity. So up to there, remember, ladies and gentlemen, currency. Currency means what here mean? It's updated. And if it's updated, it means what here? That this data will be reliable. Will be reliable. Remember, we want, ladies and gentlemen, once we give this company of ours as a data analyst, once we give this company of ours the data, then they should be able really to benefit out of it. So it has to be what here? Somebody accurate. It must enable them make decisions consistently. It must be reliable. Reliable has got every resemblance with validity. All right. So if you allow Mwalimu, then Mwalimu will be able to go to question number 9. With the high volume of data available for businesses, collecting meaningful data is a big challenge. To enable handling large volumes of data, data collection tools are critical. Which of the following will likely be a data collection software? Will be a data collection software. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen. All accounting softwares, most of them, talk of 90%, are what here? For data collection. Remember how we define financial accounting? Systems that we use for collecting, analyzing. So all accounting softwares are for data collection. You will have, in this case here, a data clerk punching in, for example. They may not even know that you're going to collect that data for purpose of analyzing, producing financial reports. Then they know Mr. A has bought, so they go there and input in the point of sales. Somebody is putting in expenses. So we have, in this case here, those things going to some tables. And then now we have like, if it's QuickBooks, if it is, in this case here, whichever, shall be able to get into these particular like sales day books, purchases day books. We'll be able to get information from various tables, put it together, and then consolidates and gives you financial reports. So look for, whenever they talk of data collection, look for accounting softwares. It doesn't matter how they call them. Look for accounting softwares. Look for accounting softwares. look for accounting softwares. Like now in this case here, I'm happy to see guys are telling me, Mwalimu, we know Zoho. Zoho is an accounting software. So Excel cannot be used for doing what here? Data collection, really. It's more of an analysis tool. Python, of course, is programming. It's programming which will be able to analyze. All right. R is also a programming tool, serious tool. All right, which is also used for research, just like the SPSS. So Zoho here is the only accounting tool that we have, which can be, accounting tools, good accounting tools. We talk of what here? Integration. That is why every serious person will come and tell you, hey, I would want to get an accounting software that can be integrated. For example, ourselves at RCM, we have been able to get an ERP system that is integrated with our normal school management system, integrated. So it's able to collect all that data at once. Gives us what here? Financial reports. You guys will be able to read here. I mean, we have very good things there. Question number 7. A data analyst makes the following comments about functions in Excel. To determine the variance of a list of 10 numbers, we use variance.population. To determine the standard deviation of 10 numbers, we use, like now 2 is out of the question here, totally. Because when you want to get standard deviation, can you use variance function? No, you can't use variance function. To determine the variance of a list of 10 numbers, we use variance.s. Now we have population, and then we have got sample. Which of the following statement is true? Is there anybody who is able to remember the concept of small samples? A small sample normally applies whenever the number that you have picked for testing is less than 30, when n is less than 30. If n is less than 30, then you are dealing with what here? With a sample. You are dealing with a sample. You are dealing with a sample. Whenever n is less than 30, you are dealing with a sample. So then in this case, not unless they tell you that there are only 10, not unless they can tell you that there are only 10, meaning that if that is the whole set, then that will be the entire population. But I've never seen that kind of a question. Whenever the number under analysis is less than 30, it means that you're dealing with a small sample. And if you're after its variance, then you get variance sample. You'll get in this case here var.sample. Because in this case here, n is less than 30. 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 So that is sample. That is a var.ss for sample. S for sample. So up to there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sure this is quite foreign to most of us, but have you gotten some idea? Because you see 10 is less than 30. So it can't be var population. It can only be var sample, var S. And it can only be standard deviation, because they have told you clearly that they would want you guys to calculate variance. They want you guys to calculate variance. Yeah, on Excel, of course, and they should be able to see this. But for now, I want you to appreciate, thanks, Annette. For now, I want you guys to appreciate that this is less than 30, it's a sample. And because they have asked me to get variance over a number that is less than 30, look at the question. What they've asked me to get, a data analyst makes the following comments about functions in Excel. To determine variance of a list of 10 numbers. Variance, if it was 40, then I would have used variance population. But these are 10. So I'll use in this case here variance what here? Variance sample. So you should be able to go and read this, and I'll be able to come back to Excel to show you what I mean there. Question number 11. The following are the various phases of data models. We have physical, logical, conceptual. We have already spoken about this. Which of the following represents the correct order of the models? Is there somebody who is able to see the correct order here? Is anybody who is able to see the correct order here? Anybody who is able to see the correct order here? Anybody who is able to see the correct order here? Now they're not talking to me very well. it has to start, like I told you, from research, conceptual. Then we look at the logics, what is connecting with each other, which tables should we be able to do here to make things work. And then we go physical. Physical is where we do implementation. Thank you very much. Physical is where we do implementation. Question number 12. Question number 12. Which of the following techniques is least effective in obtaining data for easy storage and analysis? These are quite ambiguous questions. I mean, it really depends now on your luck because they are subject to different interpretations. Especially like these first papers here, they really had a lot of ambiguity, but of late, CASNEB is really improving, right? Which of the following techniques is least effective in obtaining data for easy storage and analysis? So we have here interviews. We have self-administered email questionnaire. Of course, this will be very good because at the end of the day, most of these questionnaires are normally what here? I mean, closed-ended. They're closed, maybe multiple choice, right? Online questionnaires such as on Google Forms, also closed. Most of the times you must have seen even the ones who normally give you to rank teachers. Then we have recorded interviews. So we are comparing between interviews and recorded interviews. You see now, these recorded interviews on video, as much as they may not also be very, very good because of their unstructured nature. Because in most cases, ladies and gentlemen, these are open-ended. The interviewees will be able to answer questions the way they wish. But when they are recorded, they are much better because I can replay the videos. It's not like these one here, which are just like that and they were not recorded. And of course, the interviews, ladies and gentlemen, here, these interviews here, which are not be able to study later, they really depend on the interviewer. If the interviewer was just any kind like a person who is not very experienced, chances are they will not be able to get very good responses here, really. All right. But I prefer these online ones because mostly the online ones, ladies and gentlemen, trust you me, number one, they'll be like closed-ended, and that there must be a way. Remember, if it's like Google Forms, Google itself will be able to analyze those forms for you and give you feedback in form of graphs like that. So these two, at least I'm so confident with them. So even this one, when I think of this so deeply, I would rather the ones that are recorded for purposes of replaying. And when they're replayed like that, transcribed, then I'll be able to really now make comparisons here. So interviews in this case then becomes the least effective. But if you ask me, this is quite an ambiguous question. It's not really like a clear-cut kind of a question. And I can see you guys are really getting these things very well. Yeah, interviews may be affected by bias, halo effect, and what we call prejudice. All right. At least this prejudice, you'll be able to remove it. If it was recorded, the recorded interviews will be able to say, hey, this interviewer, apapana. Let's correct this. Thank you very much, Clinton. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, if you allow me, I'll be able to go to question number 13. According to CRISP, Cross-Industry Standard Process for Data Mining, data preparation involves obtaining data and information from different sources, processing, and storing for future reference, fixing or removing incorrect, corrupted, incorrectly formatted data and information, collecting data and information about business requirements from stakeholders and end users. Then we have creating visual representation. No, this is out first of all. When we talk of preparation, remember big data, ladies and gentlemen. You will collect data here. You have A, B, C, D up to Z. You get one column has got no numbers totally. The research assistant was doing this for you, no numbers totally. So there are columns in this case that we have to clean up. So data preparation is more of a cleanup exercise. It's more of a cleanup exercise. Data preparation is more of a cleanup exercise. So when you talk of data preparation, ladies and gentlemen, then you are right. It's about fixing or removing incorrect, corrupted, incorrectly formatted data and information for us to be able to process the data. for us to be able to process the data. Can I go to the next number, ladies and gentlemen? Can I go to the next number? Trust me, the moment we do like tomorrow, I don't know what time will be free tomorrow. I don't know what time will be free tomorrow. I'm free at 7 in the evening. I don't know whether that time is good for you guys. Then I should be able to come and do the December 2023. Once I do the December 2023, and I'll not be taking much of your time. It's only 30 minutes. I've cleared the entire. We do December, and then by weekend we do another one. You guys will tell me, Mwalimu, now these things are even repetitive. We are tired with them. They're repetitive. We are tired with them. So tomorrow at 7, is 7 okay tomorrow? Or taxi? Yeah, I don't need more than 1 hour. Like now we are almost going to sleep. You can see already I'm on question 13. I only need like 20 minutes of your time, because even tomorrow, most of the questions will be repeating already. Just 20 minutes. So we start at 7 exactly tomorrow. All right, Leshanta can see me here. So question, and please, why am I giving you this paper? It's because I've done some explanations inside here. So I need you to go and read those explanations here. So question 14, the following data is associated with big data. Big data is a collection of data that is huge in volume, yet growing exponentially with time. Big data that can be stored, accessed, and processed in the form of fixed format. Fixed format is termed as structured data. Remember, fixed format is structured data. Fixed format is structured. If this data is coming in form of words, in form of text there, yes, in form of numbers, then that is not fixed format. That's what they call unstructured. Big data that is heterogeneous and contains a combination of simple text files and images is semi-structured. So which of the following choices are correct? You know, ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about heterogeneous means what here? You know, we have homogeneous, the same, similar. Oh, my internet is unstable. I'm getting a warning of internet being unstable. I'll take 1 minute here. But guys, are you able to hear me? Are you guys able to hear? Are you guys genius? Then this has to be unstructured. So Roman 3 is wrong. So it is only Roman 1 and Roman 2 that are correct. I don't know even what answer is correct here, but I just want you to have a clear picture. So it's Roman 1 and Roman 2 that are correct. And you should be able to read this very well. Saying B. I saw somebody saying B. I saw somebody saying B. I'm breaking kidogo. It's because the internet is bit unstable. I got the balcony. We shall overcome. That is the thing. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. But are you able to hear me now? I know it stabilizes with time. It stabilizes with time. And again, it's Safaricom. Nowadays, Safaricom has started becoming unreliable. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So question number 15. Which of the following is not the correct definition of one of the V's of big data? Velocity is speed. Value is usefulness, of course, of the information. What knowledge are we able to get out of this? Are we able to use this information to make decisions? Veracity is about truthfulness. It's about accuracy. It can't be multifactorial. Unstructured, no, so C is wrong. But volume is correct, because volume is about size of the big data. Size of the data. How big is the data? So D is correct. A is correct, B is correct. The one that is not correct is C. The one that is not correct is C. Yep, variety ndio multi-factor. Variety ndio multi-factor, yes. Yeah, for variety, in this case, you're going to have structured and structured multi-factor. We have many sources, getting information from many sources. Get information from many sources. All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in this case here, of course, they have been able to describe that very well. Come to question 16. Like this question, to me, the answer given there was not correct. Let's argue it out. This question 16, we are told the following are the different categories of data analytics. We have a diagnostic, we have predictive, we have descriptive, we have a prescriptive. Because whenever something given here is not correct, we normally correct it at CASNEB marking stage, so there's no worry. So we have diagnostic, predictive, descriptive, and then prescriptive. What is the correct order? Ladies and gentlemen, remember, this thing we normally start with history. Whenever we're getting this data to make decisions, we normally start with history. And history is well captured in the descriptions. Mgonjwa anakuja kwako, ana describe sana, like the situation. So ana describe. All right? Mwambia nasikia naumu hapa na mgongo. Kimwambia acha nione kidogo, anakuambia hapana ni mguu. So ana describe mashida zake zote. Especially when they are diagnosed in this case here with something here, wanasema sasa mimi nimekufa kwanza. So you take time in this case here to really look at the situation. So description is all about historical. So you're looking at the numbers, our past sales, look at those trends like that. After, ladies and gentlemen, then we see that there are wrong things here and there. Then we get to what we call diagnostic. Now we are diagnosing here. We are trying to get into the problem. The why concept here. Why this one? We ask ourselves so many questions here. After that, ladies and gentlemen, if it's a drug that we're going to give to this guy, we must look at even the consequences here into the future. All right? So like I remember my old man, right now he's over 80 years. There's a time they wanted him to go for surgery. When these guys looked at the age of this guy and they saw like, I mean, they told this guy, don't go for any surgery now. It's too late. And the good thing now is doing very well. I'm so sure if he had gone for that surgery, he would not be walking, you know. So in this case, we need to sit down and talk about what here, this concept of predicting. Prediction now means what here, looking at the future. And now it depends on how the future looks like. Then we need to come and prescribe solutions. We prescribe. Now you're giving the doses here. We prescribe solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen here. Listen here. We are told here descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics involves analyzing historical data to understand what has happened in the past. It focuses on summarizing and describing data to provide insights into trends, patterns, and relationships. Diagnostic analytics aims to determine why certain events occurred in the past. It involves drilling down into the data to identify the root cause of specific outcomes of trends. So for example, you go for a test, and then you are gotten in this case here to suffer from diabetes 2, for example. I mean, as this guy is trying to get to the exact root of the cause, they'll want to know, for example, like your family history. Is there anybody in your family who is suffering from diabetes? No. So then they'll be able to diagnose and say, you got this diabetes because number one, you are a guy who has been eating lots of carbohydrates before they sleep. Like now you'll get a ninja here. We're going to finish this class at about 10. And then this ninja will start eating ugali. That is a main problem. You're going to get diabetes. So in this case, you are trying to diagnose, to get, in this case, here, like how we diagnose to see, ladies and gentlemen, the vehicle, where are we getting wrong? All right. But you see, number one, it has to start from what here? That description here. All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, like me, I'm always now knowing, I wish I knew these things long time ago. I eat my food. Last meal, 4 p.m. Last meal. From there, no. And I'm finding myself to be healthy like that. Yeah. Is there any ninja who is, by the way, just during commercial break, is there any ninja here who is planning to go and eat ugali after this? Do we have any ninja who is planning to go and eat ugali after this? If it's pure meat, better. If you have to eat pure meat or eggs better? Carbon. I'm eating now. You don't love yourselves. You don't love yourselves. You don't love yourselves. Jackie, and the way I'm really here struggling teaching, Jackie, rice na command. Commander good, rice bad. Rice is bad. Rice is bad for sikutaka ni maisha napeleka watu mbio hauna time ya kukula ofisi, ukija hapa iko classes, so we shall overcome. Now look at this descriptive, look at diagnostic, look at predictive analytics. Predictive analytics utilizes historical data now to make predictions about future events or trends. It involves the use of statistical models and machine learning algorithms to forecast outcomes based on patterns identified in the data. Prescriptive now, analytics goes beyond predicting future outcomes by suggesting actions now, actionable insights to optimize or improve those outcomes. It involves recommending decision options and the potential costs of action based on predictive models and the business rules. So the answer given by Kasneb is a bit different, which I disagree with them. And of course, you guys are also free. You know, here you are colleagues. You are free also to disagree with me. And then we discuss. So the correct order should be descriptive. We diagnose, predict, and then we prescribe solutions. Prescriptive should always be the last one. So we want you guys to go and look further into this, compare this with the answer given by Kasneb. And then if possible, we have like a semi-debate tomorrow on the same. Also do research. Right now, there is a lot of, areas you can do research. You can do research. Because you can't tell me that diagnostic, in this case here, comes, before descriptive. No. It should always be describing. Mgonjwa anakuja anakuambia unajua sasa mimi daktari akijalala siku tatu naumwa. So kwanza inaanza namna hiyo. After amesema namna hiyo, sasa as a doctor now will come with that temperature gadget. Mwambia kwa mdomo hii. Ingine weka namna hii. Ingine kama namna hii. So I'm asking myself, why is this lady not able to sleep? Why? It's diagnosis. Okay. From then on, we try to look at predictions here. How is the future going to be like? Are you going to be dependent on drugs throughout? All right. Now from there, we start now prescription. Now we are telling them, like now from today, you'll never eat carbohydrates, or you have to scale them down. Unajua ufai kula hata tuko na very good nutritionist kwa ofisi. Wanakuambia hatuko tunajuanga vitu. Hatufai kula ugali zaidi ya hii mkono hii, ngumi yako hii. Hii ndio maximum ugali. Kwa sababu roho yako ni kidogo hivi. Vitu mbili, appendix yako ni kidogo, appendix haifiki 70 grams. Ile inatoa insulin. Unakula ugali toshana namna hii. International disaster. International disaster. Question 17. Question 17, again, this is another area that I was disagreeing a bit with the exam, and I have to be forthright here. And we get to discuss because we are colleagues here. David Mongare is the audit manager of Mkaguzi Auditors. He is carrying out analytical reviews at 2 stages, at planning and at substantive testing. Which type of analytics relates to the 2 stages? The 2 stages. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we know that planning at the very initial stages, when we are planning, we are looking into the future as our auditors. Which strategy are we going to employ? Is it risk-based? Are we going, in this case here, for example, to depend on internal controls here? Right? So at planning stage, ladies and gentlemen, we are always predicting to see how the future will be like. We are here at the entry meeting, stage 1, but we are thinking about the future. What shall we do? So that, a plan like a budget, it's a futuristic instrument. It's a futuristic instrument. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, we come right away to this So then anything here, predictive analytics for planning and diagnostic analytics here for substantive testing. So like now here, diagnostic analytics for planning will be wrong. This will be wrong. Because planning, we are predicting. We are looking at the future. A plan is a future scheme of what we expect to happen. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, at substantive stage, remember substantive tests, I know you must have done this, substantive tests, we are looking at the test of the details. We normally go for substantive tests whenever internal control systems are not working. So test of details. So now, as an auditor, what am I looking at to be able to form an opinion? All right. To be able to form an opinion, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, I'm looking at historical. I'm looking at historical data. I remember here at substantive stage, now I cannot be thinking of future, no. I'm looking at historical. And when I'm looking at historical, remember if it is receivables, I'll be able to ask these guys, how much is receivables? Maybe 20,000. I don't trust you guys. I'm really very skeptical, guys. So then what, in this case here, do I do? Circularization. All right, so I circulate. I get, in this case here, data coming back. All right, so basically I'm trying to do like a summary. I'm trying to summarize so that I can be able to see whether my financial statements given, of course, to me by these auditors, they portray a true and a fair view. So I'm summarizing. So I'm looking at those mean. I'm looking at materiality. All right. So the question is, according to your understanding, at this substantive stage, should we be diagonizing here, or in this case here, is it descriptions? Should we be analyzing, or is it descriptions? It should be description, yes. If you do research very well, you'll be able to see it's description. Remember, as much as we say that an auditor is supposed to go and be very skeptical, where you are doubting these directors, whatever they tell you. Lakini wende kuuliza maswali mengi, unajua shida yangu, si kwenda kuuliza tu, why did you steal? Why did you do this and this? No. For me, it is just to identify things which are there, the historical happenings are there, and then I use them to make what here? My opinion. It's historical data. Somebody is asking there, cash budgeting. So long as kuna jina budget, that automatically becomes what here? Predictive. Good question. So long as kuna jina budget, in the plan, automatically that is what here? Predictive. Because if you read the literature on diagnostics, ladies and gentlemen, this basically is like the doctor's approach. It really gets into, as an auditor, you can't get into that level. Remember our work, we do our work through sampling. So we don't get into those details. No. Ours in this case is look at what happened. In this case here, they give me sales supporting documentation. If I'm not able to get enough, then I issue a disclaimer. I don't even want to know why. But unless they appoint me to do fraud and forensic investigations. That's when I'll be able even to prepare documents for the court. Because I know the judge will ask me why like that. So please, again, do more research on this. You will see the subsequent questions. Cassidy now is making the argument that I'm giving you. The subsequent question, the subsequent sittings. Now they are agreeing now with this kind of an argument. But the first one, because you have answers, it was just like that. Question number 18. Which of the following is not a strategy that the data analyst will use in handling missing data to enable data analysis? So when data is missing, what do we do? If you're not able to get a solution to this missing data, we should drop those observations that have missing values, drop them. We can use regression analysis, that estimation equation, to estimate the values, yes, instead of getting them blanks there. We can as well, in this case here, assign an integer, because you see Excel will not be able to analyze those things if you're blank. We can assign an integer, and of course we put null values. We put those null values like zeros. And of course, when you put null values, then Excel will take this as a normal number, but it shall skip those cells. But at least you have a solution there. Then we have D, highlighting the observation with a tag. I know you guys know what is tagging in Excel, eh? So you come and say that you've been into the cell, you say this cell, for example, you're giving like an additional information, additional note there in Excel. That's tagging. And saying, for example, this is an error. I mean, how will that help really? You can't even be able to make next step of analysis because you've not been able to correct the errors there. So then the solution, ladies and gentlemen, here is D, highlighting the observation with a tag. This is not a strategy typically used by data analysts in handling missing data. While it's important to identify missing values for further investigation, simply highlighting or tagging them without further action does not address the issue of missing data in the analysis process. So tagging, never a solution. Of course, you're just making reference so that in the future, maybe you are tired today, in future, you'll be able to, see that this thing has had an error. So in this case here, we get to see them. We get to see those things later. So tagging for now, you can take it like a highlighting, but it's basically about making comments, hidden comments. It has a tag. This has a tag. This has a tag. All right. Joy, I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what happened. I think I'm also becoming an old man. I shared the link to the BDA group of 2023. I'm really sorry, but fortunately the video is recorded, and I'm sure that Joy will be able to get this recording in a good time. So let's be joyful as usual. All right. So then you go to question number 19. You are given the following categories of data visualization. This one I would want to hear from you. So the first one is composition, distribution, comparison, relationship, trends. Which of the following choices represent the order from simple to complex in terms of analyzing data for visualization? Which one is the most complex? Here between 1 and 5. Which one do you think is the most complex? Why they are not talking to me? They are not talking to me, why? They are not talking to me. Nope, nope. Trend. Trend involves what here? A lot of forecasting. It's about those ANOVA tables that you guys normally do in Excel. So once in this case, you've been able to establish this is a trend line, then you have to go and test this accuracy of the trend values you're getting there. So trend in this case will be the most complicated, followed by these relationships. Because of what if it's relationship, it's again correlation, it's a linear regression. So you must look at the associations in. There's a lot of mathematics there. And then of course the other three, they are neither here nor there. They're almost the same. So in this case, then a good student should have been able to guess, given the pattern with the 4 and 5 as the most complex. The pattern with 4 and 5 as the most complex. Because you see, drawing a pie chart, you can't tell me that is any tougher than distribution. Drawing a pie chart is as good as doing what your comparison statement, a bar chart. All right. So here the trick was for us to appreciate 4 and 5 are the trickiest, are the most complicated, and then you would have been able to pick what there to pick C. You'd have been able to pick C very easily. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Joy, we shall overcome. Thank you very much, G, for my opinion. Trend is like drawing a line chart, so it's easy. It's easy. Trend analysis is not that easy. You just go and do your research. Trend analysis is not easy. It is the most technical because it also involves what we call extrapolation. To be able to see the future. To be able to see the future. Like any forecast, of course, will be a trend. Establishing trends in this case here will not be that easy. Don't be judged by anybody. You can't tell me that trend analysis is easier than bar chart. No, because trends, after you come up with a story, then you must always think about what year. No, trend can never be the easiest. Trend can never be the easiest. We shall overcome. Trend can never be the easiest. Trend can never be the easiest. Look at this. Visualizing trends over time or across different dimensions, this is often the most complex type of visualization, as it requires analyzing data over multiple dimensions and time periods. Line charts, time series plots, and area charts are commonly used for visualizing trends, but it's quite a complex thing. Relationships, visualizing the relationship between variables or attributes within the data set. This includes scatter plots, bubble charts, heat maps, which show how changes in one variable affect another variable. And then the others are neither here nor there. You can decide to work with any as being cheapest. So it involved, in this case, some kind of what here? Eliminations here. Eliminations here. And then if you allow Mwalimu, I'll be able to go to the very last one. Which of the following data visualization charts will likely present more than two variables over time? More than two variables over time. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen, is the proper answer here from A to B? I like this concept of time, where the x-axis we have time. Time. And then, of course, more than two variables. For example, you have sales commission, you have sales itself, you have profits there. Which one do you think will be the most appropriate one to be used? Which one do you think would be the most appropriate one to be used? Most of them are not talking now. Fortunately, by the time I'm doing the second paper tomorrow, line juu iko na time factor. Ikiwa na time factors and gentlemen, kumbuka ni time, hapa time chini kwa x-axis. Time kwa x-axis. So long as iko na time, automatically it is line chart. So long as you got a time for x-axis, the most appropriate will be the time chart here. And they've been able to explain here solution. Line charts are well suited for displaying trends over time and can effectively represent multiple variables by using different lines or colors to distinguish between them. Each line on the chart can represent a different variable, making it easy to compare the trends of multiple variables simultaneously. Therefore, a line chart is the most appropriate choice for presenting more than two variables over time. Remember, for the scattered points, you will have like one variable. You trace one variable, unaweka pale ka one, only one. Kanaenda namna hii, unaenda ukisketch, scatter, only one variable. Don't be confused with those many points you see there. Those are not variables. Those are just data points. But then you have like three variables, like sales, we have sales commission, we have even a line for profit, then a line chart vis-a-vis time here. All of them are dependent on time. A line chart in this case here becomes the very best. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Please go and use your own way to research and get to see, even through YouTube, how a bubble chart looks like, how a column chart looks like. Please try. This is your homework here. So from me to you, ladies and gentlemen, is a bye-bye and a good night message here. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure hosting all of you. Great. Bye. And there, great. Thank you. Good night, yes. Ugali to my ninjas, no. Ugali tunakata